Professor, what is the Quran's view of divorce and divorcees?
Divorce is the last resort. The realistic thing is, of course, two persons from different backgrounds. They may have some problems if they live under one ceiling, but they have to work out their problems through talking to each other. There is no excuse at all in having isolation, that the man comes tired from work and the woman comes tired and they do not talk to each other, and then the problems are accumulated day after day. They should talk to each other and find out solution, and always create this atmosphere in which the slight things cannot grow bigger. As a matter of fact, the big things can shrink in this atmosphere of love and mutual consideration and love. But the second resort is arbitration. If it happens that the situation is very difficult, then they bring a mediator, someone to try to find a solution between them. And one of the experiences which happens is that one from the family of the man and one from the family of the woman, and try to help them to solve the question, the problem, not to get the problem more complicated by their hostility. They are supposed to be these persons from the families should be wise enough not to throw petrol on the fire, but try to cool down everybody and put everything in perspective. The third resort, if this does not work and this does not work and nothing can work, then the third way is, or the last resort is to separate. In this case, separation should not harm the woman at all in her rights, in her properties, in her rights after divorce, her rights in getting alimony, in getting custody for the children if they are, especially if they are small and you cannot rely on their opinions. All these things, she has all these rights stated in the Quran. And by the way, there is no law which is more detailed in the Quran and also in the traditions of the Prophet more than the family law, because Islam wants to turn the tribal society into a family society. While the family was not considered at all or acknowledged in this tribal society, the family is just a breeding source for the tribe, for the clan. And nobody in the pre-Islamic history talks about the family. Everybody is talking about the tribe. So to turn the whole society into a family society, to make the family the nucleus of society, no talk about tribe anymore, no rights or obligations for a tribe, but the concentration and the focus on the family. This was the direction of the Quran, and accordingly we have this detailed rights of the divorcees in remarriage after this, after certain waiting period and making sure that she is not pregnant and so on. She can marry any person. Her previous husband cannot prevent her from any later marriage. All these rights, civil rights, family rights, personal rights, are detailed and indicated in the Quran and in the tradition of the Prophet. And as a matter of fact, this is the most detailed law in the Quran and in the traditions of the Prophet, the family law.
So once the divorce takes place, it's equal. The men don't have any more freedoms than the restrictions that are placed on women. In other words, they can go out and find new partners on an equal basis?
Yes, of course. Everybody, she can marry, he can marry. As a matter of fact, the Quran said that if the divorce happens and it is considered the last resort and the most disliked legal thing in the view of God, that God dislikes divorce. But if it happens, the Quran says, may God allow each of the partners to find the suitable person and a better life with someone else. So the man is free, the woman is free to rebuild their life again. With regard to the children, I think the trauma of divorce is for the children, if they have children. And here, of course, the children suffer, definitely. Whatever we say, they suffer from this conflict and from being perplexed between the two parents living separately. But we are trying to reduce this distress to the minimum, not to prevent it, because nobody really can prevent the trauma for the children except the spouses themselves, by being bearing and patient and considering that they can make some pressure on themselves, or not being so selfish for the children, for the sake of the children.
Let's go through a list of bullet points now as they relate to the Quran's teachings and the, say, attitude of Muhammad. On first, mothers, daughters, and wives.
Well, the mother is highly respected in the traditions of the Prophet. The Quran always urges children to take care of their parents, but with specific care to the mother who had the child in her womb and suffered during pregnancy and delivery and so on. This is pictured magnificently in the Quran, how the woman sacrifices or suffers during this natural process. And accordingly, the child should be thankful and grateful and cares for her mother or his mother, and also for his father. But the mother is specifically emphasized in the traditions of the Prophet, that if the father has one right, the mother has three rights on the child, because she suffered more and she was closer to him and she needs care in her old age and so on. So this with regard to the mother. With regard to the wife, of course, the Prophet said that the best person is the best for his spouse. So both are responsible for being good partners with one another. The husband is urged not only to help his wife, but when she works hard at home and forgets the time of food, if she prepares for her a snack, it is the best thing rewarded by God, if according to the tradition of the Prophet, if he gives her this snack or a bite until she can manage to have the food. So these gestures of care are there in the Quran and in the traditions of the Prophet in caring about the wife in all cases, and during the day itself, in the daily life, not just in big things, but even in small things. With regard to the children, the parents are urged and are taught to take care of the children physically, intellectually, treating them equally, caring about their morals as well as their health, their nutrition, their clothes, every need that they need to grow in a healthy situation, and to be really the future generation which the society can rely on.
The Quran's teachings and Muhammad's attitude toward a woman's education.
Well, education by the teachings of Islam is obligatory, as obligatory for the woman as for the man. So there is no excuse at all in depriving the woman from education. The point which raised some discussion among the jurists is according to the development of the society, and looking to the woman as if her first or primary responsibility is at home and rearing the children and so on. Is it suitable for the woman to have any education, to be an engineer, to be a doctor and spend 24 hours on call or whatever, or doing operations and leaving her baby or something like this? Or we have to restrict the education and the work or the jobs for a woman. I believe that this is not a matter of law. This is not a matter of religion. It is a matter of convenience and social development. If there is a solution, as I said, that the babies or the children can go to nurseries, to kindergarten, to babysitting, to anything, or give the woman a leave of absence for 2 years until the children are relatively can rely on themselves or in a better situation, it is left to the society. Also the kind of work. So the kind of education, it is left to the convenience of the woman. I cannot say, no, the woman cannot be an engineer or cannot be a physician because this will cause her a full time and her home needs some time. No, I cannot say this. It has to be settled by the woman herself and by the society as a whole. Also, I cannot say the woman cannot work in a mine, cannot be a driver of a truck and have the problems on the highway. It is also left to the woman and to the society. I cannot restrict the woman from any legitimate work, which does not mean stealing or cheating, or any honest work for a man is acceptable for a woman or is legal from the legal point of view. But from the convenience point of view, it is for the woman herself to say, I choose this better than that, or I cannot work on scaffoldings as a builder or as a painter. It is up to the woman herself to decide.
Women worshiping and taking part in activities in the mosque.
They can take any part. First of all, they share, of course, prayers with men. All the religious duties of men are the same for women. They have to pray, they have to fast, they have to go for pilgrimage, everything. If they have property, they have to pay charity, the due charity. They have to do, all the responsibilities are there. The point is that in the mosque they pray, as it is always said that they pray in the back. They pray in the rear or in the back. This does not mean any inferiority. But the point is that some people, some non-Muslims, do not realize the fact that in Islam, prayer is not meditation, is not reflection, is not saying something while you are sitting. It is moving, bowing and prostrating and all this. So this continuous moving, probably it may be helpful, or the woman will feel more comfortable and the man would feel more comfortable if every person is praying separately from the other, so that woman is praying among women and man is praying among men, and not necessarily they are divided horizontally. They can be divided vertically. You can put the men on one side, right side, for example, or the women on the left side, and they are at the same level. So it is a matter of convenience rather than a matter of discrimination.